The Ford Territory continues to be one of the most popular crossovers on the road today. In fact, it's the fourth best-selling car on AutoDeal.com.ph for the first half of 2024. Now, the car's been around for about a year now, and Ford has decided to go, well, dark mode on their compact crossover. This is the 2024 Ford Territory Sport. And on this episode of Behind the Wheel, I want to show you what's new with the Sport and how it stacks up against the competition.
Han, magkakababy na tayo. I think it's time to buy a car.
Hey! May nakita ako the other day. Color blue. Ang ganda! Ooh!
Han, tumuha na ng trunk ko.
Pero, kasya ba stroller dyan?
Huy, okay to, turbo.
Turbo? Gas over gatas?
Okay to, ang ganda ng touchscreen.
Malaki ba screen yan? Dapat 10 inches para hindi boring ang biyahe. Night! Psst! Punta na tayo ng iba't ibang dealership para mag-canvas ng price. Okay? Thanks! You do realize there is a better way to buy your car. Introducing the new AutoDeal mobile app. Di nyo na kailangan pumunta ng iba't ibang dealerships just to compare cars and prices. Now, you can easily browse cars, discover the latest promos, and receive multiple quotations from trusted and high-rated agents anytime, anywhere. Download the AutoDeal app now and find the best car, best price.
I'm going as fast as I can. I can't go any faster. Why aren't you driving?
I don't even have a license yet.
Oh, great. I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm not part of the deal.
The Territory Sport comes in at 1,625,000 Philippine pesos, a whopping 26,000 Philippine pesos difference from the top-of-the-line Titanium X. So expectations are not exactly sky high in terms of what the upgrades are. And if you're thinking that it's more of an appearance package, well, you'd be right. Now, the price difference is not really all that big. The same can be said about the AutoDeal app because this is absolutely free. Download it for iOS and Android, get all the specs, prices, and everything that you need, and it can also connect you to the dealer closest to you nationwide to help you get the best car at the best price. But back to the Territory. A lot has happened since the launch of this vehicle. For instance, in 2024, Red Bull is no longer the dominant team. Quiet, Earl. In 2023, the latter half of that, we hit 500,000 subscribers, which, by the way, thank you to all our supporters out there. Also, a lot of cars have been launched, some of which rival the Territory. Two that come to mind are the GAC MQ, which comes in at a more affordable price of 1,498,000 Philippine pesos. Size is similar, interior feel and comfort is also at par, a bit more power as well. There is also a hybrid that is priced at 1,698,000 Philippine pesos. And you also have the shockingly good value BYD Sea Lion 6, a PHEV for only 1,548,000 Philippine pesos. Same size, more power, and jaw-dropping efficiency. There's also a bunch of other cars which you can compare to the Territory on our website, AutoDeal.com.ph. Please, try it yourself. So the competition around this price point is getting very, very competitive and it's getting very tight, which is great for you and I as consumers. But how does that fare for Ford and the Territory? Let me show you around the car. Let's start with the engine really quickly because, well, it's still pretty much the same. You still get a 1.5-liter turbocharged gasoline engine that produces 158 horses and 248 Nm of torque, and it's still mated to a 7-speed DCT, so there's really no changes under the hood. On the outside is where you'll find a lot of changes. Blacked out parts galore. There is not a touch of chrome out here anymore. Any sort of trim out here has turned black. You'd think Mick Jagger came by. The grille, wheels, trim on the front and rear bumpers, this garnish on the side, roof rails, and even the roof itself is now black. Opening the tailgate reveals 448 liters of space, which, as we've shown before, is ample space for a balikbayan box, even with the tonneau on. If the outside has gone dark mode, the inside has gone, well, it's actually brightened up a bit. It now sports a two-tone, very light-colored leather inside, which is nice. And then there's also stitching found on the steering wheel and on the dash, which Jack and I figure is either yellow, gold, or orange. We're really not sure. What we're sure of is that we're friggin' colorblind. As a quick refresher, it's pretty spacious at the rear. There's no center tunnel, legroom and headroom are great. You have a center armrest with a cup holder, charging points, and air vents too. Here at the front, there are more changes that you will notice apart from just the color scheme. For instance, this center area here, this used to be riddled with piano black. Now, it's faux carbon fiber. And while Jack himself said he wasn't really a fan of it because there's nothing wrong with, what is it, satin finish?
Satin black or matte black would have been
Matte
okay.
black would have been okay. To me, at least here, there's really zero fingerprints talaga. That's a nice texture. It's a nice addition. You have two large screens in front of you. One is your instrument cluster and the other is your infotainment screen. Still has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are
wireless.
both wireless. Thank you very much. You have buttons on your steering wheel for your cruise and your audio. You have a wireless charger here in the center and quite a number of cubby holes, like 2 cup holders there and quite a deep... My goodness, Jack, are all these the receipts from over the weekend? Where did you go?
Secret.
Okay. There are also still other adjustments that you can make inside the car to make it as comfortable for you as possible. Like for instance, here you have a tray that can move in and out. You can leave your phone there or you can have it deep. So you can put, like, let's say Jack's bottle in there, which you can because it is, wow, that's actually quite deep. The steering wheel is telescopic, so finding the ideal driving position is not going to be an issue. Also, the fact that you have power seats for the driver, none for the passenger, but hey, at least you have it for the driver. What is lacking, though, is that for a car that sports the moniker Sport, there's no paddles. I kind of wish that they were there. But let's see how that affects the drive, which we can go on right now. But before we do, as always, I will give you a plea to please subscribe to our channel because we create all of these videos just for Earl.
What?
Who? Fuel efficiency inside the Territory Sport, well, could really be a little bit better. Not so fantastic because inside the city, we were only doing 7.1 kilometers per liter at an average speed of 22 kilometers per hour. Out on the highway, we thought a little bit better. Unfortunately, not all that great, but still respectable, I guess, at 14 kilometers per liter, but the average speed was only 80 to 85 kilometers per hour. Another downside is the transmission and, unfortunately, accelerator response. Sometimes when you're in stop-and-go traffic, when you step on the accelerator, the car doesn't move just enough. And yet there are other times that because it doesn't move enough, you put a little bit more into the accelerator, then the car seems to jump forward and catch you off guard. It does take some time to get used to it. Once you do, it should be a bit better. But then there's another issue that you have to contend with, which is sometimes the brakes are a little bit on the unpredictable side also. Sometimes they bite a little too hard. Even Jack was caught off guard thinking that I was driving like an idiot. It wasn't me. So again, back to the accelerator pedal. I'm at 74 kilometers per hour. I'm going to floor it right now. Took a while for anything to happen, really. And then I'm just going to jab it ever so slightly. There's a surge when you put in small little inputs. It's down to the transmission, really. In terms of how this drives compared to its contemporaries, well, the MQ, for instance, it has similar drawbacks to its transmission as well because of its DCT. When you're talking about the Sea Lion, that is much better because it's a hybrid system and because its transmission is that for more electric vehicles. When you compare it to, let's say, for example, the Corolla Cross hybrid, that is down on power. It's a little bit slower, but at least it crawls in traffic a little smoother. Like tipong, if pasahero ka dito, saya mo. Wala kang reklamo. Seats in the back, very spacious. Got a lot of elbow room going on. You have air vents back there. You even have one, could have been more, but you at least have one charging point. I don't have any issues while driving. Jack is comfortable where he is. We're saucy because we have a panoramic roof that is also a sunroof at the same time. It's just, I'm really comfortable in this car. I just wish I drove a little bit better. What the Territory does have is a great suite of advanced driver's assist systems. So you've got lane keep assist, you've got blind spot monitoring, you've got adaptive cruise, which I'm using right now, and it's pretty cool too. Like the car in front of me is only doing like 63 kilometers per hour. I'm set at 80. So if I were to get out of the lane, then the car should accelerate by itself to 80 kilometers per hour, as it's doing so right now. Yep. And then there's even a radar that tells you just exactly how far it is you are from the car in front of you. So right now the car that's speeding away is about 90 meters ahead of me. But if I move into the center lane where there's a car that's much closer, the radar should change and tell me that, yep, 56 meters ahead of me. Plus that sound that you heard, that was the blind spot monitoring. It was telling me that it might not be all that safe to change lanes. So yeah, the one thing that this car will definitely do, thanks to all this tech, is most definitely keep you safe, and your passengers too. Side note about the adaptive cruise, I'm not a fan of it. I've made this clear. Jack is. Gotta admit, in here, it's quite nice, especially when you're traveling on the Skyway and the speed is not necessarily always constant. Some people are going at 80, some people are going at 75, and it toggles through. It's nice just to be able to hold the steering wheel and look straight and not have to worry about accelerating or decelerating. So that's nice.
And
Okay, Jack, I agree.
And it's also not just on the highway. It also works in traffic. So like even slower speeds like 20, 15.
It
kilometers
works
per hour,
at
it
crawls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty smart like that.
On our review of the Territory Titanium, we said that picking the right variant would be key because the base Territory Titanium is already good enough. But then when you get to the top of the line, the niceties and all the tech that you get with it is really well worth it. And then when you move on to the Sport, at 1.6 million Philippine pesos, when it first came out, it was of good value. But since then, there have been so many other cars launched that are just as equipped that are more affordable. For those, however, that value the blue oval, I don't believe you'll be shortchanged. No.